gamers, and welcome to episode 348 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for October 24th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
It's going great this week, Daniel. It's a good week. I mean, we got the fall is here now. It is here. I'm loving it. I love waking up with my balls in my kidneys because it's so cold, man. I was like, yes, this is what I want. This is what... this weather. I love winter. I know it's weird for a lot of people because they say, like, man, the cold is worse. I'm like, come on, man. You can easily get warm, man.
Yeah, you just put a layer on.
Yeah, dang.
It gets so hot that I have to rip my skin off. It's uncomfortable.
For a guy like me who's a sweater, who's a sweater, I love this weather. So great.
Except then you get the cold sweats, Dominic.
That's horrible. It's horrible. If you sweat and you gotta go outside or something and I feel like a cold breeze, oh my God, I'm going to die. And I have like, my sweat starts turning icicles on my forehead and it looks bad. All right. So what do I want to talk about? I guess I'll talk about the game I went to last weekend. The Washington game, which they got trounced on. It was a great first half. I was excited. We were winning. We were getting turnovers against Mahomes. Remember, Mahomes looking so horrible. I was like, our defense, which has been horrible, we're like almost like second to last or like the bottom three. They have the worst defense. So I was like, man, we're doing good. So we were winning. I forgot what the score was in the first half, but we were winning. But we didn't score any more points when it came to the second half. Yeah. And I was pissed because I was like, this is the worst defense in the NFL. And we only scored 13 points against them. What fucking sense does that make? Like, that we couldn't score more than 13 points against the worst defense in the NFL. Yeah, it was bad. But, I mean, cool being in the game. I was in nice seats. Like I said, I was in the end zone. So, I did see some Chiefs touchdowns. I did see our touchdown, too. So, I'm happy about that. But it was a lot of Chiefs fans. A lot of Chiefs fans there, man. Like, that is just bad. Oh, and the whole Sean Taylor thing was a debacle. It was... Really? It was easily, you could tell that they kind of rushed this. I mean, first, the pregame stuff they did, it was okay. They had, like, a video of a guy talking about it, but I don't think they have... I came a little late because I was out tailgating with some people, and tailgating, man, that is awesome. I never done it before. I never been out there to tailgate, but somebody who I was with, he knew some guys out there that they say they have season tickets. They be doing it every year for years, and they be out there tailgating. They got TVs out there, man. Like, so you can watching the game. So they had the European game. Well, not European, but the Europe game was on, where it was the Jaguars playing against the Dolphins, I believe. Oh, okay. And I think, the Jaguars won because that was the first game they won. So I was watching a little bit of that. People were dancing and stuff like that. They had some good music, some good food. Had some burgers, some chicken, a whole lot of meat, like no veggies. So I was like, man. And I was a little tipsy, man. I was a little tipsy because I had alcohol, and I could tell I was a little tipsy because when I was eating that meat, it did not burn my tongue, but I felt something really hot in my throat. I was like, oh, must be really hot. But I can barely feel it. I was like, man, when this goes away, I'm going to probably have a sore throat or something. Something like a really horrible burning sensation. But it was fun. But going to the game, they had already started some of the Sean Taylor stuff. So I was like, oh, man, we missed it. But no, they had some things on the video that I saw. So I don't know how many people were talking in that video. I only saw like one player. I think it was Santana Moss. Though I felt like this could have been bigger. Like I said, there wasn't a rush job. It should have been more people there. Like people actually on the field talking. Yeah. They didn't have that. Like it should have been old like ex-players, talking and things of that nature. Talk about how great he was. The video was still playing while the Chiefs were coming out. So you hear people clapping and booing at the same time. Gross. So it's like, God damn it, what the hell? Then the halftime showing. They had the family up there with the jersey. They're going to because they are retiring it, and also they have the number on the VIP side of the field, which is like the right side of me, where they have the number on the field, 21. Mm-hmm. Thing is, also I saw Mahomes' brother. Apparently, he was doing a little dance. He was doing Instagram. He was dancing with the number and stuff.
Oh,
and like it was like just seemed like really tacky. It's like why'd you let him in there?
Right.
But they had other VIPs coming in there too. But I guess it was really they should have had nobody come on there to even be on it. It should have the number because they had it roped off.
Yeah. Somebody
should have been like, you can't go in. You just can look at it. It's like, why do you need to go in? That doesn't make any sense. Like the stand of the number. Oh, God, it was so dumb. But, yeah, it felt like a rush job. It felt like they really did this to hide the fact that I guess we just found out, like, Congress they want to investigate. They're going to investigate more into what's been happening.
Situation
with the what happened with the owner and the organization.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe nothing went really further after all that stuff we talked about with the cheerleaders basically being like.
I guess they said they couldn't prove anything, basically. I think he got fined, maybe. I think they got fined. I'm not even sure. I mean, I think they got fined. But thing is, it still worked out for him because he got total ownership of the team now.
Right.
Like, he bought out the rest, like, the partners. And I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, we want him gone. And even people who are really anti-government, because, there's a lot of people who watches football. So even they were saying, like, yo, maybe I don't really like government involvement and stuff like this, but hell, this gets Snyder out, I'm okay. I was like, good God. It's not because of the horrible shit that went down. It's just because you don't like Snyder. Like, I don't like Snyder too, but, I mean, it just helps on both sides. Like, yeah, this is horrible shit. He used to go, he's the guy at the top. You can't say he's not involved. Like, oh, I didn't know. Like, bullshit. Bullshit you didn't know. Get the fuck out of here. Like, you didn't know what's going on with these cheerleaders. You can't just say, like, oh, I don't look at emails. I don't read emails. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. But nothing is happening. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Then you're a horrible owner in that way, then. You should lose the team because you didn't know what's happening. Anyway, well, it's happened. But overall, it was still a good experience being there. But there's a lot of empty seats. And I looked online to see, like, is it just like the NFL's like this? Mm-hmm. Like, attendance is just down? Which I believe attendance is down. Now, I don't know about not down from last year because, obviously, COVID. But I think, like, down where it used to be. But Washington is the worst. And see, you may not think it's bad because Washington hasn't really done much in years. That's true. But there was a point in time, I remember when Daniel Snyder first got the team. And I remember this was back in, I was in high school. Like, Washington was number 2 in attendance. Like, in money, period. And, like, making money. They were, like, the top, like, next to the Cowboys in making money. Like, that's why people kept thinking, like, shit, they're going to buy them a Super Bowl. But football's not like that. It's because of the salary cap, it's hard to do that. And then you still have to be good. And we weren't. We didn't have a good organization, like, behind the scenes to get a Super Bowl. We could have probably won one if we had better people behind the scenes. We didn't have Daniel Snyder as an owner. Yeah. But we do. So unfortunately I don't know. But anyway, they have gone for number 2 back in like 2001. They stayed in the top 5 for a long time. Till now they're in last place. Like behind the Lions. As far as like percentage, like attendance percentage. And thing is, what's bad is that they actually took seats out.
Wow.
To help with attendance. So that means you're still in last place after you took seats out.
Wow.
That's ridiculous. Because that should help you. That should bring you up. Because I saw when I was in the stadium, I saw the seats that were especially up on the nosebleeds. Mm-hmm. A lot of them, they're covered. Like they put a covering of them, like you can't tell the seats were there. But I've been there before when they had all those seats. Because that was the biggest. Well, not the biggest stadium, but the biggest in seat. They had the most seats when they first came up. When FedEx Field was first built, they had the most seats out of anybody in the NFL, like 80-something thousand seats. And they would sell them. They would sell out because they were number 2 in attendance. And they just, I guess people start seeing where the organization was going. Like, this is bad. This is not what the Washington or the Redskins, at the time the Redskins were. Like, this is not like, I guess the true fans, they just stopped coming. They said, I'm not going to buy no season tickets for this team. Like, I'm not going to come to this games for see a team like this. Or even regular fans, like, what's the point of me wasting my money to come out here? All the way out to Landover. Like, one of the worst locations you could put the fucking team at. Like, compared to where RFK was in DC, so easy to get to.
Yeah.
Because the subway, or the train, I think it's the subway. Yeah, the subway for Landover, where people get off at, it's farther away. While at RFK, it was right there. You go across the street, you're there. You're there at the stadium. While now you got to walk down. It's a hike. I mean, it's not a long hike. It's not terrible, but it's long enough. Because, I mean, I walk from the damn parking lot to the damn stadium was bad enough for me. I mean, I'm a lazy fuck, though, so I guess you can't really go by me. But I can imagine I had to walk from down the subway stop to walk up there. I'm like, goodness gracious, I would have to take a break. So, yeah, it's like, if the team's this shitty and the organization is this bad, what's the point of even coming out here? You know, I don't blame fans. And it's sad. It's sad that it's come to that because Washington, I mean, I've seen bad teams still have fans. Like, hell, Cowboys haven't won since 1995. So they still have people come out for their games, but they know how to put on a show also. Jerry knows how to put on a show. And plus they're America's team. Like they're America's team, for whatever fucking reason. And I mean, I look at, what other teams? I look at funny. Like, well, see, New York Jets, I guess they're good because they're in New York. The Jets haven't won anything since, I mean, they're the ones since Joel Namath, man. But their fans come out for that team. They haven't done shit. Like, Washington's done more shit than they did. But, yeah, I guess it's just this Eric. I don't know. I really want to know how it went down. Like, if you ask some people, they're going to say politics or something. Oh, this. That's like, whatever. That's not the fucking reason. I mean, that could be part of it, but I think that's a small percentage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's got to be some other added stuff. I mean, because I think attendance has gone down in the whole league, or because of, just people do other things. There's so many other things to do now instead of just watching football. But why? But I just want to know, like, why Washington go to last? Why are they last? It's just, I mean, I have to say it's because of the people behind the scenes. They're just not doing a good job. All right, so I'm done with that rant. Quickly, I'm going to go through the World Series is happening now. It was about to happen. You got the Atlanta Braves versus the Houston Astros. I'm happy Atlanta won.
Yeah.
Great game. I saw the end of it last night because I was at a show, which I'll mention later on. The Houston Astros, the cheaters. Though, like I told you, I'm kind of over it now. I mean, I'm not that big. I know some people are not, and that's fine. I mean, I understand it. But, excuse me. But I want Dusty Baker to get a ring. I want Dusty Baker to get a ring. I think he's a good manager, and he's black. So that's really the reason behind it. And, well, anything else in sports? Oh, Washington Wizards are 2-0. Happy. And it was a great game. The last game was so great. Went to overtime. Excellent game, really offensive game, like no defense whatsoever. But Bradley Beal didn't play, the best player on the team, and all the new guys were great, man. That we picked up. Like I'm liking this team. This team is deep. I'm liking this team, so I'm like, oh, this might be a good season. This might be a good season. Like one of the players, a few of the players are from the Lakers, so. There's a guy, Kuzma, I guess he's trolling the Lakers. Like, he's always tweeting, like, about the game when the Lakers are playing. Like, he's always tweeting about another team. And, like, fans of the Lakers just hate him. They just hate him for doing it. But some fans will be like, we miss you. But some fans say, what are you doing? Like you say, you're like an ex-girlfriend who just won't let it go. Or something like that. Things like that. And he must have said something on the Lakers opener when they lost. Oh, he put out a tweet that he retweeted somebody else's tweet, but I think they said he deleted it. It said, "Oh, the Lakers are 0 and whatever without Kuzma," and it's like that. And I was trying to say, yeah, they need him, but yeah, he's like really. I guess he's really. I want to know if he's really upset or he just just joking on Twitter.
Yeah.
It could be just that. It could be like, hey, like people keep responding to me. Being people just hating on him, but I guess that's what is like good. Some attention is any attention is good attention, or like something like that, But yeah, I just want to know: is he really upset he left LA? But I don't know. I mean, I guess he could be because LA. I mean, it's a fucking great city, and then it's the Lakers, and he wasn't. I don't know. I never thought him as horrible. I put it like this: I never thought they're the reason they lost. I never put him. He's a good player. He has done well for us these 2 games. These 2 games, Kuzma has been great. So, hey, thank you, LA, for Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and Caldwell Pope, because they're doing okay on our team. And Dinwiddie is from the Brooklyn Nets. He was awesome last night. He hit the the go ahead. No, he didn't do the go ahead. Bertans did, but actually he got us to go to overtime. He helped us go to overtime with that 3. So, yeah, I like this team. All right, that's it, really. I haven't been paying attention to hockey. Like I said, hockey is not into the playoffs. You got anything to say about wrestling?
Not really. They had their WWE had their Saudi Arabia show, as they have been doing these past couple of years. So, of course, they kind of stacked that card. They still
doing that. Oh,
yep,
man.
They're still all in on that. I will give them credit. When we first started talking about them having those shows, and the first show didn't have any women, and they got in trouble for showing a video of Carmelo on the screen, you are now actually getting women's matches there. They had Sasha versus Becky versus Bianca Belair, and also the finals of the Queen's Crown tournament, which is the women's equivalent of the King of the Ring. So they had a couple of women's matches there. They wrestle in long pants, and they have like big T-shirts on, so you can't see any curves or anything because, God forbid.
Hey, don't judge them, Daniel.
But no, I mean it is.
I was joking.
It is some progress there, so I will give WWE a very, very minuscule amount of credit for, actually having that happen, because they kind of said, just give it a few years. We're trying to create progress. And, even if it's the illusion of progress, at least there's a little bit of something there happening.
I mean, can anybody blame WWE or... that's just the Saudi Arabia culture.
Can I blame WWE for taking that money? I mean, that's a whole other thing.
Oh, for taking the money?
Company,
no.
Well,
yeah. But I mean, you can blame it for that, yeah. But
like making the women wear big shirts or whatever? No. I mean,
yeah.
If you're just trying to, slowly move the rock up the hill, I guess is their thinking. And if that's actually their thinking, and it's not just we want this fucking bag, good for them. I will say, though, that whole Queen's Crown tournament situation was kind of a clusterfuck, because like all of the matches put together were like under 8 minutes. Like they didn't give any of these women's matches time, so it's kind of been a joke. Especially when you're going up against AEW, who as of late have done a lot better with the women. They were struggling at the beginning to showcase the women on their main shows the way a lot of them deserved to be. And I think part of it was just they didn't have kind of a solid roster of women that they could necessarily showcase. They only had a couple who were performing at a really high level. And now as they've brought in a lot more experienced women, they're starting to give them a little more time and starting to have multiple storylines instead of, just these 2 women going after the belt. So yeah, that's kind of where that is. Nothing too big, I don't think, happened for anybody these past couple of weeks, though. So
okay, so I guess we'll move on to what we've been watching. So I'll start it off.
All right.
And I went to a show last night on Saturday. Bill Maher had a stand-up at the Lyric Opera House in Baltimore, and it was great. It's a good show. He talked about, of course, politics. some current events, and a lot about millennials and boomers, and stuff like that. He didn't even mention though, like, why nobody talk about the Gen Xers or something like that? Yeah, you know what? It's always like millennials and boomers. Gen Xers are just like
they just exist.
They're saying shit too. Maybe they're more on like they're kind of, I guess, like half and half. They got some Gen Xers who are probably more on the boomer side, and so. But even though I feel like some millennials are from the boomer side too on some certain issues. At least I feel like I am for a lot of issues.
You have an old soul, Dominic.
I don't know. I think it's hard for me to, because see, I'm looking at the perspective of black. So see, when people say it, they're just thinking of everybody, which is when people say everybody, it's white. So you're thinking of like millennials, boomers, and stuff, and as white people. See, while when I hear it, I'm like, I don't think like that, and that's why I said, like, it's hard for me to put things without adding race, because it don't make sense if you just make it everybody.
Yeah.
Because like black people, like black millennials aren't like white millennials. I can tell you that right now from the friends I know. Okay, and like we don't think like all of the progressive stuff that you would say progressive. I think we're probably more conservative than you think. Like we're now more progressive than our black boomers, but compared to white millennials, like the traditional white, I think we're a little more. I always feel like, I guess we're a little more conservative than what they think on certain issues. But anyway, but Bill Maher, he's definitely he was hilarious. He was funny, and I know that there's some people who feel certain ways about him. Of course, about the Israel stuff, and then there's some black people who feel like he's racist because some of the things he said too. And I don't blame anybody for feeling that way. I don't blame. I just I don't know. Some things I can look past, but the Israel stuff, because it really has nothing to do with me, so It's easy for me to look past. So that's why. But the black thing, I understand. But he was great. The show was great. I haven't watched this show, Real Time with Bill Maher. I think most of the Trump administration. Mm-hmm. I think I stopped once Obama came out of office. I think that's when I stopped. I think because I felt like watching regular news was jokes enough of hearing about Trump. Like you just see Trump all the time. That watching Bill Maher, I was like, I see this stuff like so much is that I just need a break. I was like, I need a break because I'm looking at news. I'm looking at news, and there's enough Trump stuff happening there. I might check the show back. I might check the show out again now, just to see what's he's saying up there. I've seen some clips of it, and yeah, it's been some funny stuff. But yeah, great show. What else have I watched this week? I watched this new show called 10-Year-Old Tom. It's from the guys who made The Life of Times of Tim, which is a show that was on HBO. 10-Year-Old Tom is also on HBO. It's on HBO Max. And it's just like, if you've seen The Life of Times of Tim, it's just like it. I mean, the guy who's the creator of the show, who speaks for the main character, he speaks for Tom also, just like he spoke for Tim. Which is funny. It's like Tom and Tim. I wonder what is up with those names, like simple names, like he just chose for these characters. Yeah, he's just like a 10-year-old Tim. I mean, he's just like him. Like everything bad's always happened to him. People just treat him like shit, and that's just how the show goes. And I mean, it's funny. I mean, it's all right. And from what I've seen so far, it's still a pretty good show. It's a cartoon if you don't know. It's like a badly drawn cartoon. But you know what I will say is more animation in this one than Tim.
Yeah.
So I guess the budget's a little bit up from Daniel.
I wonder how much like a show that looks like this costs compared to something not necessarily like, full detail, but something that's a little better looking, a little more appealing.
I wonder how much it costs compared to South Park.
Yeah.
South Park seems like it doesn't cost that much either, but I have a feeling South Park probably still costs more than this.
I mean, South Park, you also have to look at like the time frame that they're doing that stuff in. Like, I hope they're paying those people who are making these episodes in like 2 days enough to warrant the stress that probably comes with that. Whereas this is probably getting shipped off to some, art factory across the seas somewhere.
Oh yeah, it's definitely probably Koreans or whatever doing the animation. All right, what else have I watched? Squid Games. That's the biggest show that people have been talking about for the last few weeks, or months now, almost months. But yeah, my sister, she told me about it, and I was like, yeah, I keep hearing people talking about Squid Games. See people do jokes about it. I have no idea what it's about. I didn't bother to look it up until she told me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, so now I get the jokes. 'Cause I did not fucking understand like these jokes. And yeah, the show's all right. I watched all the seasons. I did it while I was editing the podcast. So I was watching it like 1.5 speed on Netflix and like had it sound off. So I was looking at this as subtitles mostly. But I got the gist of it, and I enjoyed it. It was good. It's totally as gory as I thought it would be.
Oh, okay.
But it's still, like, yeah.
Intense.
You're still gonna be like, oh man, that's fucked up. Yeah. It's definitely intense. Yeah. And trying to figure out like, oh, who's gonna die or something like that or anything like that. Or like who's gonna survive. But yeah, it's an enjoyable show. Like I enjoyed it. I don't know if I care for a second season.
Okay.
Though, I mean, the guy said he didn't plan on it, and he's still thinking about it, which I'm like, he's doing it. Because how popular it is, he's doing it.
Yeah.
Netflix is going to force it out of him and say, we're just going to take it from you.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it. We'll do it without you. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a second season. But it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. Now, you said you started it?
Yeah, I just started the first episode this morning. I think I'm about like 2/3 of the way through that. He just got to the I guess Squid Game. I don't know where everyone is being held. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by it so far.
They're inside a giant squid.
Are they? Oh, that explains it. It's just games inside a squid. There's nothing to do with a squid. I assume that at some point this turns into Splatoon and then they're just shooting each other with ink or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They get there. All right. So what you been watching?
So yeah, I've DC Fandom happened last weekend and they did all their kind of previews for stuff. There was a very, very, very brief thing for Black Adam, which was just basically The Rock in costume. Like, for as long as we've been hearing about this movie, it feels a little bit ridiculous that that's where we are with that movie at this point. I know it's done filming now and they're working on post-production, but like, come on.
They could have showed a better trailer.
Yeah, we need something here. So there was that. They also showed some of the stuff from The Flash, the new Flash movie, which I guess is going to be kind of based around Flashpoint. Michael Keaton's Batman seems like he's going to be in there because he was doing the voiceover. And they also showed like the back of his cowl. Yeah, and there's also 2 Flashes at one point. Like you see 2 Ezra Millers. So that could be interesting.
Is that the guy from the original Flash?
Yeah.
The original
the movie, the Justice League.
The movie?
Yep.
So he's still doing it?
Yeah, he is still doing it.
Oh, good.
He didn't get canceled.
I didn't know he was still doing it because for some reason I thought they were getting a new guy because I wanted him back.
Well, I mean, there was like, I think it's switched directors like 3 or 4 times at this point. And they've kind of stopped and started production. And then there was that stuff about Ezra Miller like yelling at people on set or something like that on either Justice League or The Flash. I can't remember where that was. So yeah, I could see why, that stuff was kind of all up in the air at one point in time. But yeah, he's on there. They're pretty far along with that, it seems like. So it seems like in this next year we're gonna get kind of a ton of DC stuff flooding because you've also got Aquaman 2 coming down the line at some point too, because they were showing off Black Manta, his new costume.
Oh yeah.
But the ones that they had like actual trailers for, they had Peacemaker, which is the HBO Max original that's coming from James Gunn.
Pretty funny.
In January. Yeah, it seems to hold the same humor as the movie. excuse me, maybe even going a little further than the movie in some spots on the humor side of things. Lots more John Cena in his tighty whities going around his house. You got that stuff. But yeah, that looks fun. The group that he's with seems like another, ragtag group of amusing assassins or whatever, mercenaries. So that looks all right. They had that. They also had the new Batman trailer. It still amazes me every time I see that, because I completely forgot that it was a thing, that Colin Farrell is Cobblepot, or the Penguin. I guess he's not necessarily the Penguin yet or something, but in that trailer, like I completely forgot it was him, and was just looking at that guy and going like,
yeah, this is before he got bitten by the radioactive penguin. So yeah,
exactly, with the little dynamite on his back. Yeah, but I mean, this is very intense and brooding. I know a lot of people have been like, oh, more intense than like the Nolan movies, but like, wasn't that the whole thing with the Nolan movies? Was like, this is a dark, gritty Batman after going from like the Joel Schumacher Batmans where he's got nipples and stuff. What I really want out of this movie is like the detective stuff. I want them to focus on that. Now, this trailer seemed to focus more on the actiony bits, a lot of fighting, a lot of Batman just kicking people's ass. But I'm hoping that the movie actually ends up being a little more psychological thriller kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, I want Seven. Mm-hmm. Like Batman. And that's
the thing. It has the vibes of it, but it's not. It really doesn't lean into those in these trailers, at least. It feels like they're alluding to the fact that that's what this could be. It has a very David Fincher-esque look to it. I mean, even the Riddler just being like a dude with fucking tape over his face or whatever, a bag on his head instead of some, Jim Carrey dude prancing around in a cat suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want it to be something like that, and see Batman, see how his mind works. And all they're really showing is just the cool actiony bits.
Yeah, I want basically almost what we sort of saw in the Long Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Like something of that nature, that like something that's, oh man, like I didn't think about that. Like something that's, yeah, like you said, more detective or something like that forces him to not just go, oh, you're just fighting.
Yeah.
Like you have to investigate, like things of that nature. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like I would like that more, because I mean we've seen enough action superhero movies and stuff like that. That's nothing new. I mean, it could be good, but I want something different. Like, because he's a man, like, so it's got to be different from him. It can't be just like, oh, he can fight. I mean, we know he can fight, but like the villains he fights, they aren't fighters. Really, They aren't really fighters. Like the Riddler's not a fighter. He's like, so it's got to be. I hope it is more like a Riddles type of game.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I feel like it has to be like all the pieces that you see, if you put them together with like some of the stuff that the directors talked about, like where his inspirations are and whatnot, it feels like that's what this movie is going to be. But maybe they're showing this stuff in the trailers to bring in more of a general audience. But I don't want to go down that path a little too much if that ends up not being the case, and I'm just like setting myself up for disappointment. I kind of just have to take it at face value, and what they're showing me right now at face value is, hey, here's Batman viciously beating up some people, and while that's cool sometimes, like, yeah, I want to see more depth to his character. I want to see, they've got Catwoman in there. They got Zoe Kravitz's Selena Kyle. I want to see what they're doing with her and what that means for Batman's character. Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of pieces there in place. I would imagine they don't do a lot with Colin Farrell necessarily as the Penguin, as far as just like having multiple villains or anything. I feel like there is going to be one focal point in this, and it's just going to be like, he's this guy, Cobblepot's trying to, tell Batman that his family's fucking up or something like that. That kind of stuff, because that's kind of what was happening in the Long Halloween too, right? Is like Falcone or Maroni or Macaroni, whichever the mob families was trying to get him to work with them, because it was like, hey, me and your dad were working on this hospital together. And, they kind of show that in the trailer where like Batman or Bruce Wayne is standing in the middle of this like puzzle on the floor, or he's trying to like figure things out, and it says sins of his father. Like I hope that stuff gets into that. Like, Gotham is in the state that it's in currently partially because of the Wayne family,
Yeah. Yeah, because I like that tale. I actually like that story of Wayne, just like in the that was the game, the Telltale game, Sins of Our Father. I mean, that's what it's called. And like, because Bruce Wayne's father was actually not as like a hero of Gotham as she thought he was,
right?
And I think that's not the comic book version of him, but I actually like that. I like that twist, because it's like, oh, yeah. And it built a nice story around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else was there for the DC fandom?
I think that was pretty much it for the DC fandom, unless you saw something else that I'm not remembering.
But we could talk. Well, do you have something about the game? Is that in the gaming news?
Yeah, I have that stuff in the gaming news.
Okay. I'll just make it sure.
Did you see? I heard there was some stuff about a new Batman animated series. I didn't look at it though. I didn't see that originally. I just heard it on some podcast. Did you see that?
I probably did. I just don't remember. But I do. Yeah, I remember them talking about it. I'm trying to think that I see a clip of it. I don't remember. I think it looked like the old anime. It's almost like falling back from the old, like it's taking stuff from the old anime series that we watched in the 90s.
It's being made by Bruce Timm, one of the guys that,
Oh yeah, I did see some of it. I just don't remember too much of it though. But it was all right. It didn't really show much. It can't really judge too much, but gotcha. I want to see it.
Okay.
I did see that they showed some CW stuff. Batwoman. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing that Lucius Fox's son. Yeah. What is his son's? I forgot his son's name. But he is going to be the Batwing, which is a comic. That is a real comic character where Lucius Fox's son is Batwing, and he's going to become that in the show. I thought that was sort of cool, because first I just saw that. I was like, oh god, he's getting his own show, Batwing. But then I realized it was on Batwoman. I was like, I said, because Batwoman, I haven't gave it a chance since they got the new character, but I just saw an article of the old Batwoman of why she left. And I almost like, maybe I shouldn't support this show then, because if she said it was a lot of bad things, she said what happened on set about with the people there, like the production team, like people behind the scenes, the director and stuff like that, like that people getting hurt on set. And
I feel like I do remember hearing about that stuff, like it not being like literally a safe place to work.
Yeah. And like how she got hurt, and how a stunt person got hurt, and things of that nature. It was, and like how they weren't really taking care of them, things of that nature. Like they were working them pretty much badly. It didn't sound great, and I was like, oh, that's not good. It's not something I expected from a show like that.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened in that fandom. I can't remember everything, because I kind of just fast forward through it, because there's a lot of talking, stuff and stuff that I didn't really care about, like the CWs. A lot of CW stuff it's not really my forte, so I didn't really pay attention to it. But yeah, so what else have you seen?
They did. What are your feelings on the Static Shock stuff? Did you see that stuff? That Michael B. Jordan's supposed to be producing. I can't tell. I know there's a cartoon movie that they're doing for HBO Max, but I swear I've read that they were also doing like a live action thing as well. But then it seemed like
I think I heard report. I did. Yeah, I did see that, but they didn't like show anything, so I don't know. I don't know what's it going to be.
Right
now, I read the comic. The comic book is back. I read 3 of them. They're okay. They're okay. They also done some more Milestone comics. They did Hardware. I read one of those, and I read Icon. I read one of those too, and they were all right too. I mean, they were pretty good. I'm just the way they put them out. I don't know. I don't know what the dates they put them out on. Like they're kind of slow rolling it, and they call it season 1, and I'm like. I guess they're really just testing the waters because I just feel like, man, this gonna get fucking canceled probably, and I don't want it to, but damn, I mean, I hope it don't. I at least finish. Oh, they don't usually cancel in the middle of a run, so they'll finish the run, the story. I just hope it's good that the people are actually buying it. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm curious to see what that Michael B. Jordan static is. I'm curious to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
But they are doing this show called Naomi. I saw, and it's a black girl. It's a new one. It's one Michael Bendis created.
Oh, okay.
And I read some of the comics of Naomi. Now I have a problem with Naomi though. I mean, I'm happy it's a black
Michael
girl.
Bendis created him?
I mean, well. That's not the well, when he created them, I didn't have a problem with it. Yeah. It's just what it's about. Like Naomi, she's a girl who lives in this small town in Seattle, and she's into superheroes and stuff like that. And like they don't really see superheroes out there much. Well, it's like I don't know. I say Seattle. It's not Seattle. It's probably somewhere in either Oregon or Washington, or it's some West Coast, northern West Coast place, like small town. And she, like she wants to, she don't, so, I'm sorry. They don't really see superheroes like that. So when Superman was in town, she wanted to hurry up and see him, but she keep missing him, like every time. And then he was back in town and she missed him again. It's like, oh man, it's like I keep missing him. And, like she relates to Superman because he's like cause she learned that he's an orphan or something like that. And like, cause she is, and she's been adopted. The problem I have with Naomi is that, like, I'm happy it is a person. Well, it is a black person, but she's more along the lines of like a person of color because even though she's black, she's adopted by, I want to say, a white family.
Oh, okay.
And there's no other black people in town.
Right.
So I don't get that connection. Because it's like because you are what you are in your environment, like where you grow up. Like as much as people want to say, like, yes, you may be what you are, like either Chinese or black, Hispanic, or anything else, Indian. But like if where you grow up at is really usually how you become, where your environment is. And the things she does and like with her friends, and it's not bad because there are people like that. I understand, but it's just that it's easy for a white person to write this because all you're doing is you got a black girl, but
you're just coloring her different. It's the same experience.
Yeah, it's the same experience.
You already know about. Yeah, I gotcha.
And thing is, now Michael Bendis, I think he has a black wife, right? And I think he got kids with her.
I believe so. Yeah.
But also, I don't know their family situation. I have a feeling the kids probably are not. They don't have the life that I know the black people I know live. You know, so they probably can connect with her more than I can. And so, like I said, I know there's people like that, but it's like, come on, it's not for. I mean, I'm not saying this is a bad comic. I mean, it's all right. It's like that's the thing. It's not bad, but it's not something I'm gonna like when somebody say, "Oh yeah, what's some good?" Like somebody asked me, "What's some good black comics?" Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna name that.
Right.
And the thing is, I went to a site to show me, because I was trying to find black comics, and they brought her up, and I read it. I was like, this ain't it. Like, this is not what I think of when I think of black comics. It's just a black face. I don't really feel that black experience. And then you find out also that she's an alien. And so, the parents are black, the alien, but it's aliens. So they definitely not going to be like, so it definitely made it easier to write for. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not sure who writes for her now, or Michael Bennett's still writing for her. He probably started it and so he gave it to somebody else. But yeah, it's just not the experience that I thought it was, or like I was looking for. But it's not saying it's a bad comic. It's just not what I was looking for. I read enough comics with basically that are with white people. Yeah. And I feel like this is no different. So I was like, I really don't need a new one right now. It's like I read plenty of them. I'm trying to get something. I'm trying to find ones that's more closer to an experience, like at least that's really different off. Because I read some that are with Hispanics. Like there's one, I think it's got canceled though, unfortunately. But I'm still going to finish reading because I like it so far, and people did like it. It's just that a lot of people are buying it. Called Sideways. He kind of looks like Spider-Man. He came like a couple years ago for DC. But he can like teleport anywhere. Like he can split like the air, and it kind of like it starts a void, and he can go right through it or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. I like that. But like the only black comic, I'm trying to think black guy. I mean, of course, Miles Morales. Because now was written by a black dude, I believe, and who else? There was some Black Lightning that was written, and of course the like I said, the Static and the Milestone comics that's just coming up. Look at those. Those are only ones. There's some other black characters, but then they're also like they're the only black people around though that I've looked at, and it's like that's not what I was looking for, but okay. I mean, whatever. All right, then. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Oh, my fault. My headphones went out on me. Hold on. Okay. All right. There we go. Oh, I accidentally tipped my headphones out. All right. So
it's still recording and everything, though, right?
Oh yeah. It's just my headphones.
I feel like I always have trouble with something if it gets disconnected. Okay.
All right, so what we got here? So what is this? What is this GOTG game?
Guardians of the Galaxy. I started to write out the entire title, and then I got lazy. Yeah, IGN posted the other day like the first 17 minutes of the game. So I was watching that this morning. I don't know that I'm feeling that game. Like, there are some concepts that are interesting, but part of it feels a little too Avengers-y, and then part of it just feels like, I don't know, silly. Like there's this, and it seems like it's going to be like a mechanic throughout the game, like before you get into these battles with your multiple characters, because it kind of shows you, Drax joining your team, and then Gamora, like you're already together, but you kind of you're with Rocket initially, and then you kind of fall in this hole, and then like Drax and Gamora were on a team kind of split up from you guys, and then they're trying to like get back together as a group. So like as each character comes in, the game tells you about like their special ability. So Drax has like low damage, but he has high stagger for his special, because there's like the normal damage bar, and then underneath it there's the stagger bar, which games more recently have been doing, where it's basically sort of like a shield. You gotta fill in the stagger bar, and then that'll stagger the enemy, so you'll get a lot more free hits in there without having to worry about them retaliating and stuff like that. But at the beginning of those battles, there's like this huddle thing where you have to choose the right options to either get like a buff on your team or a buff on just you, because there are like 3 different choices or 3 different outcomes, I guess. And it's basically like a buff on your team, a buff on just you, or no buff at all. So you're like trying to hype up your team to go fight. And that just, I don't know. It seems silly. It seems like they were trying to take maybe the MCU stuff a little too, I don't know, too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. I'm waiting to see what reviews look like coming out for that game, because that comes out next week. But it just, I don't know. It doesn't seem, it's not making me super excited. The more I see that game, the less I'm kind of interested in it. So
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it turns out to be better than what you saw.
That's what I'm hoping for. Seen this. You know, I'm not, not hoping for this game to fail. If anything, I want this game to be really good. It's just everything that I'm seeing so far. I'm just kind of like, it's not what I'm looking for. Like they're very much taking the pieces that they think make like the MCU Guardians kind of a big deal, like the musical aspects and things like that. And they're very much like maybe overplaying those. I mean, even though I do kind of like, I did like the aspect that they kind of had at the end of it, where you, after you do your stupid little huddle thing, then you're just bouncing around fighting these guys, and you've got your licensed music kind of blaring because Quill has his headphones on and whatnot. But I don't know. I just wish that played like a different role, like some actual meaningful role in the game, instead of just like, we licensed some songs, so while we're having battles, listen to some cool songs, because that's what they did.
See, that's the thing. See, what James Gunn did with the music, it made sense. But now, every time I see Guardians of the Galaxy from some other property, it's like, oh, we've got to have music here, but you got to make it make sense. Yeah. That's why I never cared. Like, when they had the music in the Telltale game, I was like, why? Why can't you just be just like the comic books and just fuck it? Why? That could be just an MCU kind of thing. Unless you go and make it make sense.
Yeah.
Unless you go and make it make sense to have this type of music in there, I don't think you should have it. You don't have to have it. I don't. You gotta make it, be a part of the actual story. Like,
how you incorporate it. Like that would work. But like, even if the idea that they could like take that music and then almost make the combat go to that music or something like that, where there's like a rhythm element to it, where like you initiate combos based on the music, and like as you follow the beat, like I feel like they could do a really cool kind of innovative thing with the music if they wanted to go that route. But instead it's just like, the MCU did it. We're not quite the MCU because everything's going to look slightly off, but we're really trying to go for that without having to just license the stuff from the MCU.
Yeah.
That's what all this kind of feels like.
It does. I mean, from the trailer I looked at, it does feel that way. Like it seemed like that's what people are going hard on, except for Insomniac, which I'm happy they're doing their own thing, and I wish that's what people would do.
Yeah.
Like if you got the property, do your own thing or something. Like, don't have to be taking everything from the movies, because then that's what people are going to compare it to.
Yeah, I mean, and you can go that route, like make a licensed movie if you want to go that route, but like, don't get into that funky kind of like. Just
in between.
You end up just far enough from the movie that it's weird, and it's like the uncanny valley thing, right? It's like you're far enough away from the movie where it's weird, but you're not far enough that it looks like a cool creative thing, like Insomniac ended up with. Yeah. And speaking of things that are kind of off from the movie, from video games and the movies, Dominic, the Uncharted movie finally has a trailer.
You don't think it looks awesome? Psych, I was just joking.
I think it looks like Uncharted to an extent. I mean, outside of Mark Wahlberg not having a mustache.
Uncharted with real people, where I wish it didn't, because I think it looked better as the game.
It looks better as a video game, yeah. I mean,
because I could tell the graphic, like the CG of him going out the plane. looks like if you seen the Crystal Skull.
Oh no, not the monkey scene.
Because you could just any CG, any type of CG-ish type of scene they had there.
Yeah.
A special effects scene, because I could tell it's fake. Like I could see it. I could see that it wasn't real.
Well, he's no Tom Cruise, Dominic. He's not going to jump out of a plane.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, damn, Tom Cruise ruined this shit. Because I seen Tom Cruise fall out of the plane, and it didn't look fake.
Yeah.
So I think it was
because he really fell out of a plane. Yeah. Yep. Learning how to halo jump at 60 years old.
This, I just see it like I can tell like he's not. This doesn't look great. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's just not. It's not like this looks so awesome. I don't know. The movie is. I mean, I hope it's okay. I hope it turns out to be okay.
I just want it to be fun, if anything. You know.
Yeah, I hope it's fun. But I felt like we got it with 1010. I feel like 1010 was the Uncharted movie we had, and at least it was. You can do a lot more because it's computer animated, so you don't have to do some weird shit to make things look real.
It very much just feels like we're gonna. I mean, it does feel pretty true to those games. I will say that. Like,
I don't know. It doesn't sound like from the trailer, at least, I didn't get a sense of that being Drake to me personally.
I mean, character-wise, the feel of the game. Like, I'm seeing a lot of climbing. Like, I'm seeing a lot of those kind of set piece kind of scenarios. But yeah, it very much feels like, okay, they put those actors in costumes that make them look like the characters outside of Mark Wahlberg, but I'm not entirely convinced that they are those characters. Yeah, the cocky kind of, and maybe it's just a younger Nathan Drake, but even what you see of that character in those games, because the character is pretty well tread over those 4+ games, because there's also like the Vita game. You see him basically at every age, every stage of his life, and he's never kind of like the coy, like, I don't know about this adventure kind of thing. It's always like, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we shall see. I'm just surprised that it's finally a real thing after years and years of it, much like The Flash, like going into production, going out of production, these people signing on as people, these people, I feel like at a certain point we were talking about Mark Wahlberg signing on as Nathan Drake, and now he's found himself playing Sully because he's aged out of the role, I guess. I don't know.
But I think he doesn't look like a Sully, but I mean, it doesn't really matter to me, like the look. I just want it to be a good movie, because I mean, it matters, but it don't, like, because I'm like, it's fucking happening no matter what. So what the fuck?
Right,
I just hope it's good, because honestly, I didn't want this to happen. I didn't ever want this to happen.
I mean, those games are basically movies anyway. Why do we need an inferior version of those? It's
like the games were basically based off like Indiana Jones. I mean, they can say they're based off something else, but that something else they were basing it off was based off Indiana Jones. And so it's like you're basically you were basically making things like an action movie, and then you're just going back. Then you say, we're just gonna make a movie out of this. It's like you don't have to.
Yeah,
you could have just left it alone. All right, so I guess we're finally getting to what we were playing. We did talk about some video games. Can you talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy? So.
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and do mine. So I know you got Metroid, but I'll just do mine. I want to talk. Okay. So I played some Echo Generation.
All right.
I only played almost basically as much as I played in the demo. So it's nothing really that much new to tell, except for that you can create your own character.
Oh, cool.
Like I think you couldn't do that in the demo, because if you could, I totally missed that, because I stood a white boy. But this one I found a black kid to be, And they didn't make that was one that's like, oh, they better make my sibling and my mother black too, or I'm gonna be pissed. And they did. I said, okay, good. Because I ain't going to adopt the route shit. All right, so so this game does seem like it makes you grind because I couldn't just go through it, which is not bad. I mean, the fighting's all right, but when I just try and go through the game, I got killed because even when I blocked everything, but they still take off a lot of hit points. And I was like, I don't have enough health to keep healing myself. So I was like, yeah, I got to go fight some more raccoons again. So I have to leave a stage and go back, and hopefully the raccoons spawned again so I can fight them again and I can level up. But basically everything I said about the game for the demo is how I feel about this. Like, it's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't done anything more, so I can't really say much on that. So I haven't got that far. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I probably get into it. I probably stop playing Eastward now just to play this. I just now because I kind of want to really get into this game. What else have I done? You got any other questions about it?
So I don't remember from you talking about the demo, the combat. Is it just kind of third-person action-y combat?
No, it's turn-based. It is turn-based. Just like it's like Mario and Luigi.
Okay,
games.
That's what it was. Gotcha. So you have like counters and stuff like that. If you
exactly. Okay. Like when you hit, you got to hit the button so you get the most attack points you can, and when they hit you, so you can. Well, actually, you know what? If they got counter, I don't know if they have counter. All I could do every time I mash the button, I just block. I actually wish they did have counter. Shit, because then I could kill those fucking things faster.
Yeah, I always like that about the Mario and Luigi games, like getting that extra bit of hit points off of them.
Yeah. And my sister's with me, and she has her own stuff, too, to do. She's cute. Yeah, I like her. And, yeah, the game is cute. I like the look of it and the town and stuff like that. Like a kind of blocky kind of thing.
Yeah, it has kind of a Minecraft look to it, but a little more detailed in the characters. And watching the trailer, like, I didn't realize how kind of big stuff got with that. Like, I'm seeing almost like Final Fantasy boss big monsters and stuff, which seems pretty cool. Like, I was thinking I think I get this one confused a little bit with the other one that was like kind of around town action puzzle game that I can't remember the name of. And I had a shortcut on my desktop, but I think I originally... oh no, there it is. Crossing Souls. I think I keep getting it confused
Crossing
with that
Souls.
one.
Yes. And I beat that game.
Yeah,
that was good, and that was good. I liked it. It was okay. I mean, it had its problems, but the story was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was sad too. I mean, I was saying, don't expect in seeing. Well, I don't want to spoil too much. If anybody expect to play, it's pretty sad though. All right. What else I play? I played some more Tales of Arise. I'm really getting deep into that game. I don't know where I'm at because I don't want to spoil it. See how far I am. But I know, the guy has this mask on. The mask is totally off now. I finally got the mask off, and he remembers everything of his past. And that was a big revelation. And the game. I'm still enjoying this game. Like this is the game I've really been playing a lot of. Like I've just been really into this because the story is enticing enough. I mean, it's not totally great, but it's enough that I'm really interested in it. I mean, and the voice acting is good. Like, it's not dumb anime like voice acting. It's not like a bunch of like all that shit. It's like it's voiced really well. I was like, and also the combat. Like I said, the combat is just great. Like I like this. In an RPG combat, like I actually enjoy going to fights and fighting enemies. So yeah, for the first Tales, this has been my first Tales game I ever played. I'm very glad it's this good. What else have I played? I played some more Back 4 Blood. I played a little bit more. I think I'm on Act 2 now, and each act has I don't think they have the same amount of chapters, but it's quite a bit. It's quite long because I still got, I think it's 4 acts. Even though the 4th act only has like 1 chapter, so I say, oh, that's cheating. It's like, come on, you can't do that. But anyway, Because you might as well just make it that Act 3 then. I'm like, it's going to do that shit. But, yeah, I'm on Act 2 right now, like, as far as single player. And you can't, I don't know, unless you join, somebody invites you, I don't think you can just go into, you can't just pick Act 3. Like, I can't go in and, like, say, I want to do a quick play in Act 3 or Act 4 because I haven't done it yet. Mm-hmm. So they do prevent you from going forward in the story on that note, which is, I guess, it's kind of good. But thing is, when I'm playing with people, I'm not really paying attention to the story. so it doesn't really matter for me. Now, when I play by myself, if I'm doing single player, I do pay attention. And there is a trainer out for it, but this does have anti-cheat. But they made it a way so that I can still use the trainer in single player. But anything I do, though, it does not, when I go back online, like I play traditionally, anything I collected would not be there, which is kind of good. It doesn't make people like be able to like they can cheat and get all the supplies, and it doesn't let you cheat to play with people, so that's good too. So it doesn't like in multiplayer. So I actually appreciate that. Like I'm okay with that because that's like I said, I'm okay with cheating as long as it's single player,
right?
And yeah, it doesn't, as long as it doesn't affect people in multiplayer, and that's fine. Well, it's funny, I saw some of these people comments. I guess these people must be new to this guy, because this guy, he does traders. He even says it like, this is not for multiplayer. This is for single player. Or if it does work in multiplayer, he said, be warned, you will most likely get banned if they see you using this. Yeah. But there were some people up there saying like, oh, this is worthless. This doesn't work in multiplayer. It's like, no, it's not supposed to.
Yeah.
No, you're not supposed to want to work in multiplayer, man. This ain't the type of, you gotta go somewhere else for that shit. And I hope you get banned, honestly, because I don't want, you shouldn't be doing that. So what else have I done in that game? Anything special? My favorite gun is like the automatic shotgun, man. That is great. I love that gun. It like just keep on pressing it, and that's just killing those motherfuckers. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the game. I played again with my friend and some. We played. I think we finished. He helped me finish Act 1. We was with some other dudes too. Now, the problem I have is with other people. Now, I don't know because I'm not talking to them, so that it's partly my fault too. But like, I'll be wondering, like, are they lost or what are they doing? Because I'm like, please move forward. I was like, if the more you stand still, more zombies gonna come. It's like, can we get to the stage? It's like, I'm trying to finish the stage before I die. Because like, I'll be going forward and I still see them back there, like they're fighting some zombies. It's like, you don't need to kill every fucking zombie you see. You just kill enough where you can get through. It's like, you don't have to keep going back and shooting and shit like that. Like some people, and I understand you trying to look for every nook and cranny to get some ammo and stuff, but you don't need to. It's not like a bunch of collectibles in this game, which I'm happy because I don't want that, because I want people to keep stopping looking for shit. Like, the thing you should be looking for is like where to go to get to the end of the level, like so we can get to the safe room. And that is it. Yeah, that is all I played this week. I'm trying to think, did I play anything else? Any demo? I don't think so. I'll play a little bit of Dragon Ball Z Fighters. I tried that out on the Xbox Cloud, and yes, the load times are a lot faster than they are on my Switch. And I did play that game on the Xbox before when they had the free weekend. So yeah, it's definitely a lot faster on the base Xbox. So this is how like I want to play fighting games. Like because those fighting games, they make me not play them as long because the load times.
Right.
It's a lot of times. That's why I play a lot of Injustice through the cloud. And then I got DBZ Fighters too, man. I hope they get Mortal Kombat up this shit, man. I really do. I hope they do get that. All right. So what have you played?
So this week it's just been Metroid Dread. Going through that. I'm at the very end of the game. I believe I'm fighting the final boss right now. Well, I've actually stopped fighting the boss because it's difficult, I will say. So I've actually...
the final boss at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Damn, man. Is the game not that long?
According to my time, I've spent about 10 hours playing it so far.
Oh, okay.
So now I've found myself going back, trying to collect everything, get 100% in all of the different areas of the game, because it's kind of broken down into different areas like Metroid games kind of usually are. And it does a really good job of, one, I talked about it last week, but basically showing you where blocks are when you can't necessarily use an item on it, but it'll show you a color and it'll show question marks. And then once you get that item, it'll show you, hey, this is power bomb blocks or whatever. And it also kind of flashes on the map in areas where there are things that you need to investigate, areas where there might be a secret. I like that. Just all these quality of life things I very much enjoy about this game, because it doesn't necessarily hold your hand, especially just to get through the story in the way that like Metroid Fusion did. And I very much kind of expected it to, because that was the last mainline Metroid game and that was the direction they went. But it feels like they very much went back to like a Super Metroid and an original Metroid where you can get lost if you fuck up, or not even if you fuck up. But for example, like I got near the end of this game and basically the computer was like, no, come talk to me when you do some other shit. And as it turns out, I still hadn't got 2 power-ups, one of which I knew I hadn't gotten, which was the power bombs, which I will say because they've been in every game, and I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything by saying there are power bombs in this game. But I got to a point in the game where I was literally collecting the expansion modules for power bombs, like extra power bombs. And it was just like, yo, this is for a thing that you don't have yet, so you can't do anything with it right now. And I'm like, okay, clearly I should have gotten the power bombs by this point then. And I just somehow missed them. And as it turns out, there was just an area on the map where I just hadn't gone in that direction yet. And boom, there's another power up that I hadn't gotten yet. And then boom, I finally got the power bombs. So right now, that's the thing about it, is like it is very broken up and it's a very expansive map. Like there's a lot of area to cover, but once you get fully powered up Samus, you can just run through that game and run through those areas from one side of the map to the other in basically no time. And that's kind of always the way it's been. I mean, especially that's what I love so much about like Super Metroid specifically, is the first game where I remember that being the case, because I mean, one, it's one of those games where you have to go back and revisit areas that you hadn't been in, or you had been in and then, come back to. Whereas like a Mario game or whatever is just linear. You're just going on about your business. But by the time you've actually gotten power-ups, like these enemies aren't leveling with you. There's none of that shit. You go back to those early areas and those guys are getting fucked up. Like you don't even have to worry about them. You can just fucking shoot them one time and they explode into a million power-ups and, bombs and whatnot. Or missiles rather. One of the other really smart things I think they did with this game over like a Super Metroid, all your abilities were at the top of the bar, top of the screen, and you had to press select to like cycle through missiles, super missiles, power bombs, stuff like that. Whereas this one, everything gets its own dedicated button. And while it can get confusing sometimes, because especially like as I'm trying to collect some of these power-ups, there's some kind of complicated jumps and things that I need to do. And sometimes I'll press kind of the wrong button, and it gets to a point where it's kind of timed because of some of the abilities that you need to use. But for the most part, it's a lot more convenient than one of those old systems. And of course, it's designed around that way because, for instance, your power bomb, you go down into the ball mode and then you hold down the trigger, the right bumper equivalent, I guess. I always forget what they're called. I think it's just R as opposed to Z. Yeah, because ZR is the back trigger thing. You hold down R, and then you start to glow, and then eventually, after like a second or two, that's when, if you lay a bomb down, it becomes a power bomb, that kind of thing. So I think that works a lot better than having to cycle through different powers and whatnot. I will say there are some powers they give you that you almost completely forget that you have, and you kind of only really use when you're encountering enemies basically the first time. There are some that you need to use to traverse areas. But when you're like going back through like I am now and just kind of going through areas, it's like, oh shit, this door closed on me because I'm supposed to use the cloaking ability to walk past the sensor or whatever so it doesn't see me. And it's just like, man, I haven't used that in, many hours of playing this game. There's stuff like that. It just feels like, I guess you didn't really need this, but I don't think it's necessarily detrimental to the game in any way. It's just kind of silly that they created this whole kind of power up to very rarely be used. Yeah, I mean, from what I've played of the game so far, like I said, I'm pretty sure the guy that I'm fighting now is the final boss. I am extremely satisfied with it. I might find myself going back and restarting just to kind of see how quickly I could go through it, see if I remember any of the stuff, which honestly I don't think I do because my brain just doesn't work sometimes. But I like to do that sometimes where it's like, okay, I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm not going to have any of the power-ups, unfortunately. But let's see if I, remembered kind of the course of action with this. So yeah, I'm having a great time with it. The final boss, not to spoil anything, but it feels a little more active than some of those previous Metroid final battles with like Mother Brain and stuff, where she's very much like kind of I had the word and then I completely forgot it. Just doesn't move around a lot. A very sedentary boss where you're doing a lot of avoiding, like firing things that like turrets that fire at you and rings that bounce around the room and stuff. But it's not a whole lot of like actively fighting this boss. Whereas this one, it's very much like, oh shit, I gotta utilize a lot of my powers to get around and use my mobility to avoid being hit by this character. So, yeah. That's where I'm at with it, Dominic.
You guys will take a quick break. When we come back, we go to the flashback segment.
All right.
And we're back. And we're flashbacking to 2011, this week in October. We're going to start it off with... I'm going to see, because a lot of games I don't want to say, Daniel, so let me go through here. I'm not going to wait. I'll wait to the first game, because that's a big game.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say, okay, Ben 10 Galactic Racing, the Ben 10 TV show, and I'm guessing it's like their pod racing game. I said pod racing. Their kart racing game.
Yeah. Probably better than Mario Kart, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's definitely. Everything's better than Mario Kart. What else we got here? We got Everybody Dance on PS3, which I'm going to say this is a bootleg Just Dance type of game with the move support.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have, what the hell is this? Do I want to say this game?
Probably not.
I don't see a picture of it on Wikipedia, so no, I'm not going to say it. Let me go there. Payday the Heist on PlayStation Network.
That's a big move.
Is this like is this a downloadable pack or something? What is this Payday about?
Is this the original release of it?
Remember, it was released October it already came out on Windows and Steam.
Okay.
It says the game runs on Diesel game engine. Oh, it's a Diesel engine. It has a Diesel.
Kevin Nash, Big Diesel.
Oh yeah, is this the original one? I don't know. It got a 70 on Metacritic. It only came on PS3 though. I mean, except for Windows. I mean, it came on Windows, but it didn't come on Xbox. So this can't be the original one then. This must be like a special one.
No, I mean,
the original one only came on PlayStation 3.
That doesn't sound wrong. I mean, Payday 2 is like the big one. Like the The first one was kind of like, this is kind of a cool concept, but 2 is really where it blew up. So maybe we're just thinking about 2 being on like the 360 and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe that's it. Oh, I guess maybe this Payday. Yeah, this is when they're really just getting their feet wet. All right. Oh yeah, so I guess this is the start of Payday. It's 10 years from Payday.
Crazy. We're not that old, Dominic. We're not that old.
I'm not gonna say this game either. I'm gonna say this one: Ratchet and Clank All for One.
Oh yeah,
the 4-player cooperative PS3 game. I'm not sure how people liked it.
It was kind of.
It got 70.
I was gonna say higher than bad, but kind of middling.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I fell off of the Ratchet and Clanks during the PS3 era.
And what else we got? We got Rocket Bird's Hard-Boiled Chicken.
Yeah, that one always seemed kind of cool. It was like a side-scrolling platform shoot-'em-up action game.
Oh, okay.
You were like a bird, and it was like a
so not hard-boiled egg, but hard-boiled chicken. Good God, were they alive? Were they living when you put them in there?
Yes. You put them back in
here's a big one from 10 years ago. Rocksmith came out.
Yeah. That game somehow outlived the rest of the music genre, Dominic.
Yeah, because this is like, hey, you can actually really learn guitar, and people actually went for it.
Mm-hmm.
They say, okay, yes, I can not learn how to play plastic guitar. I can actually learn how to play real guitar.
Yeah.
The Sims 3 Pets came out for the Windows. This was huge because you could have pets in the Sims.
Finally.
And I don't mean, not saying you didn't have it in 2, because I have no idea. Because there's so many expansions that I just don't know.
Yeah.
If this was the first time you had pets, maybe this is the first time in 3 you had pets. I'm not sure. But Tropical 4 came out 10 years ago. We're on Tropical 7 or 6. I forget.
Yeah. I don't remember.
It's with the S.
I feel like we're
Tropical with the S number.
I feel like we just talked about another Tropico, like maybe 3 had come out in 2001 or something.
Yeah. That game is a game that comes out a lot, and I never played it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got Dungeon Defenders came out, and this is pretty big because they got sequel to this, right? Yeah, there's a Dungeon Defenders 2. It came out 2015. This is I want to say, is it like Orcs Battle? I mean, the Orcs Must Die? Or is something different?
Yeah,
it's a mix. It's a mix. It's a mix.
Defense-y, yeah.
It got role-playing elements to it, too, also, apparently. So, it is like a tower defense type of game, though. All right. We also have already said that game. Payday the Heist, I mean, just came on Windows a day after. You got Cities XL 2012. I don't think this is one of the good ones. I think this is one of the.
This is before City Skylines, where it really blew up.
This is like a 61 on Metacritic. We also got Fruit Ninja Puss in Boots version.
Oh boy,
on the iOS.
Puss in Boots.
I didn't even know they had a Puss in Boots version. Honestly, we also got. I didn't know Fruit Ninja did like license.
Everybody did licensing back then.
They should have did. They should have the real fruit licenses, like Dole or something like that.
No, Super Monkey Ball had Dole.
Akita Banana or something like that. That's Rugby Challenge.
Oh boy,
came out. The best rugby game out there, people.
I'm sure.
They got. Look on the front. They got the All Blacks, the Wallabies, the Jonah Lamu. I think is that a? I think that's just a player name, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's a team or not. What else? We got Football Manager 2012, man. We got all the European stuff coming up, man. We got FIFA Manager 2020.
Okay.
12. Darren, why is that just not in FIFA?
Because they can charge more and get you to buy it separately. Because
but actually, you know what?
Europeans are going to buy it.
FIFA Manager, I don't know if that's on consoles.
But
I don't think FIFA was on PC at this time.
I think
they didn't bring it till later on. they start bringing FIFA on PC, or probably back on PC, because I think it was just like Madden used to be, and then that was back. So maybe that was their PC thing. It's like, hey, you can play FIFA Manager. We got to compete with Football Manager. We can't let them have all of it. We need all the monies. ESA, we need all the monies. All right, Kirby's Return to Dreamland came on the Wii. And
I think that was supposed to be a good one, right?
Let me see. It got an 80, well, a 77 on Metacritic, an 80 on Game Rankings. Yeah. Went up, gave it a B. Game Informer gave it an 8.5. Destructoid gave it a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
And look, it was whatchamacallit who did it? Boy.
Jim Sterling?
Gave it a 10 out of 10. Psych, he didn't do it. I was just joking. I don't know if he was still there at that time.
Yeah.
Was he still? Yeah. I'm not sure when he left. I forgot when he left.
Maybe. Yeah.
Game Trailers gave it 8.3, and IGN gave it a 7.5 though, so they didn't get the paycheck.
It was actually Jim Sterling that reviewed it.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I gotta get this game then.
Yep.
His name is Stephanie Sterling now, right? Or is that a joke?
It's not a joke, but I'm not sure exactly what they're using right now. I know Stephanie is in their Twitter name, but I don't know if it's Stephanie Jim Sterling or Jim Stephanie Sterling or just Stephanie Sterling. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you.
All right. What we got here? We got Serious Sam, The Random Encounter came out, and this is a, what did you say this was? Role-playing game?
Yeah, a turn-based role-playing kind of thing. It was
Never
made
heard of
by
this game.
Vlambeer. Yeah, I completely missed this somehow. But those are the guys that made like Nuclear Throne and something fishing. I can't remember. Dynamite Fishing. And Luftrausers and stuff like that. Kind of a big indie game maker.
All right. So what we have here, I think, Pets, Puppies, and Kittens came out 10 years ago. Probably the best pets game out there. All right. So that is it for 2011. There we no, it's not. Last but not least, Batman Arkham City came out 10 years ago. Some people probably say this is probably, out of all the Arkham games, this is probably the best one. And I mean, it was good. I mean, after I finally did beat it, like a year ago or 2 years ago, it was great. Like the story was great. I just, the only downside was the Riddler trophies. That really was what it was.
They just they ruined too many. It was just
500 is ridiculous. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. Like,
they were like, people like these in the first one. Let's just make 1 million and then make them some physical challenge. Yeah, like the simplicity of Arkham Asylum, I think, is what gives it the slight edge over Arkham City as a whole. But Arkham City is still an incredible game. Yeah.
All right, give me a moment because I have to put my red zone on because we started late and I have to have my football.
Gotta get it right in my veins. I was listening to the Giant Bomb guys, or rather, not the Giant Bomb guys, the former Giant Bomb guys, the Nextlander guys talking about Batman, and I think it was Brad that was like, City is the worst of them, and I think Night is better than it. I was like, what? I didn't know people had an opinion that Arkham City was a not as good Batman game.
Like, I feel like if you didn't like that one, you didn't like none of them. But Night. I mean, no, Night has some aspects that is definitely better than City.
Oh, okay.
I think. I just thought. I mean, I agree with that, but I wouldn't. I don't know. After playing both, I think the story of City is better than Night. Night, I actually, because I didn't like the Scarecrow. He was Hugo Strange.
Right.
They changed him. They made him into something like...
Which you just had in the previous game.
Yeah. That's why I felt like he's just Hugo Strange. Why they make him... Like, he's just so intelligent. I mean, he's always smart, but they made him like this totally bad. Like, he's the baddest of bad now. I mean, not better than Joker, but he's just like, he was not like what he was in Arkham Asylum. Like, I guess he got this like more sinister and and a better villain. That's like, come on, man. I don't know.
That's definitely one I'd still like to go back to. I mean, I'd still like to even go back to Origins and just beat that. But I just don't know when I'll ever do that, if I will.
Yeah, Origins, I wouldn't mind trying because I didn't finish that. Mm-hmm. All right, so where we at now? We're at 2001. And there's one game I'm going to wait till last I really want to talk about and give it its due. Because it's a big game that came out 20 years ago. And one of those big games is the E.T. Digital Companion on the Game Boy Color. I mean, man, it's been 20 years since this gem came out. Everybody had this game.
Amazing.
I just heard about this game today.
As
this podcast, I did not know this game existed. And it's literally what it is, a digital companion. Just like back in the day of Palm Pilots and things of that nature, we didn't have the cell phones, that had to do all this that can do everything now.
Yeah.
The cell phones back then you could call and maybe play some Snake. I think some Snake was pretty good up there. And if you had a screen, I mean, only a few cell phones probably had screens. It's like a lot of them didn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were starting to get them, but it was we were privileged. Like if you see somebody with a cell phone with the screen, that was just amazing. It's like, wow,
they were rich.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
most
selling
things
drugs.
You saw. Yeah, yes.
Or rich from selling drugs.
But most things you saw, if you saw somebody on the screen, you would think it was most likely, oh, that's a Palm Pilot or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what you would think. Or they have like that's a new Texas extra middle calculator, like one of those really advanced ones. But yeah, this ET is basically made it like that. Yeah, you can have birthdays and put dates, calendar, and all this shit with ET. And you say you can hook up to your phone, so it can. What does it do with the phone?
Yeah, so basically you would save your contacts and your phone numbers into your little ET digital Palm Pilot, and then you would, once you have a dial tone, you would hold the phone up to the Game Boy speaker, and then it would basically play the tone of the numbers into the phone to make the call for you.
God, yes. And that's so convenient.
Uh-huh, of course.
Yes.
Break out my Game Boy.
I mean, yes, because dialing those numbers, man, was so hectic back then.
Well, that was back when people's brains still worked and they could actually remember phone numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And what else? It has email, but you can't really send email, which is weird. It had something like, you can write emails.
Send an email to ET and he just responds back like, yo, I'm at lunch.
Yeah, but they say you can print them. You can print your messages on the remember
and
the Game Boy printer. And then you put them
in an envelope and then you mail them to somebody.
Oh, that's amazing. I can't believe it. Like, nobody's talked about this. I was like, come on. I was like, Jesus, this is such a weird thing to come out.
Yeah.
What else we got here? We got Stronghold for Windows came out. I believe this is a strategy game. Knights.
Yeah.
Real-time strategy,
castles and stuff like that.
Yeah, castles, knights, and stuff like that. Guns weren't around, so it sucked. You actually had to go bludgeon people with the sword. You had to keep hitting them like a billion times because your sword was so fucking dull, you wouldn't go through them right away. Man, just think about it. Like, some people just die instantly. They probably just got hit so hard and just went down. Oh, my God, I'm just bleeding slowly.
Yep.
All right. And you know how many people I probably... Let's think about this. Like, were there friendly stabbings?
Oh, 100%. If it was anything like the movies where they're just people riding by on horses and...
Yeah, I'm like, you know you had to kill your own people, right?
Yeah.
That's what we think. I was like, how do you tell who's who?
I saw the Battle of the Bastards. I know what it's like.
Like, even people had different colors on. I just been going crazy. Like, they chop people's heads off. Oh, shit. I just chopped my friend's head off. I said,
oh, God.
Why were you in my way? I told you I was going crazy when I get out here. I said, get near me. I said, I have to live through this. I'm just trying to survive. All right, what we got here? Virtual Tennis 2 came out for the Dreamcast. Man, so somebody was... Dreamcast was still getting games. Damn, I keep saying...
my habit, Dominic.
It's the last one. This is never the last one. All right, so what else we have? We got Disney Pixar Monsters Inc. came out for the Game Boy Advance.
Ooh.
Wow. It's been 20 years since Monsters Inc. Just think about that. We remember when Pixar first had his first full-length movie in theaters.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, it's so depressing now. That it's just like that is so. They had done so many movies and like it's so old. Like people who've been born who weren't there for Toy Story. Like, oh, that's that old movie that my mom used to watch.
Exactly.
All right. What else we have? We got Ultimate Ride for the Windows, and this is almost like a roller coaster, like tycoonish, or what's the EA one? Theme Park Ride, I think it was called for EA's version, like a creator. Mm-hmm. Like I guess you create roller coasters. I don't know if can you do any other rides? Did you see that?
All I saw were roller coasters, but like they do show the Tower of Terror in the like main screen there. So,
oh, okay.
I would wonder if they did something like that.
Yeah, because I had to say this was Disney Interactive was the publishers of this.
Yeah,
and it looked all right. From the video I saw, I just never heard of this game though. I guess it wasn't no Roller Coaster Tycoon then. I guess it's just maybe it had the depth of it, like maybe it's just a builder.
Mm-hmm. All
right, where am I at? I am looking at NFL Blitz 2002 came out for the Game Boy Advance. I never played these games on the Game Boy Advance. I wonder how were they? Were they any good? And last but not least, 20 years ago, one of the greatest games came out. Grand Theft Auto 3 came out on the PlayStation 2.
Talk about game changer.
When I first heard about this game, wasn't until close to Christmas, which is it was after it came out. Like I didn't hear about it when it first came out. I read about it, but I didn't really think about it. It's like, oh, cool, you can go around the city and stuff, and that's cool. But I wasn't really in depth with it. But then a friend of mine's had played it, and he said this game is great, Dominic. Like you have to get this game. Like this is, and then kids in school start talking about like, yo, I gotta get this game for Christmas, man. I say, oh, people are talking about like I gotta get. A lot of people that have PS2s, they were trying to get them for this Christmas because PS2s, they were sold out last Christmas.
Yeah.
So people's like, man, I gotta get PS2 for Grand Theft Auto 3, man. I heard this game is awesome. I heard you could fuck some hookers. I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
So I borrowed this game from Blockbuster. Just to try it out. So okay, people like this game. Let me see if I want to ask my mom to get it or my dad and play that game. Man, I was like, oh, you can go anywhere around the city? That's cool. It's like, oh shit, I just run over people. I just kept doing it. Then the cops start coming after me. It's oh my God. I was like, this is so real. This is so real. I was like, that's what I thought. And then it was like, oh shit. And then somebody told me you go to the hooker. I forgot how I learned about the hooker thing. I don't know if a friend told me or did I see in the magazine? But then I did the
news,
thing.
Dominic.
And then I went to the woods and it started. Like the car started rocking. Oh my God. But then when you look in the front of the car, it's like, oh man, they ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I just like, okay, I'm not going to ruin the illusion. I'm just not going to look at the front of the car. I'm just going to keep it in the back. It's like, okay, yeah. And your health going up. And then you go shoot the hooker. You can get out and shoot her. And sometimes she'll have your money. You get your money back. I was like, yeah. And I said, there you go. This is the game. This game taught me how to kill hookers. That's what this game did. But anyway, yeah. But my dad, I guess he saw the news and he was like, "Nope, you can't get this game." And I said, "Why?" I said, "Why can't I?" He said, "Because it's too violent." He said, "You're not old enough. You gotta be." It says 17 over. You're only 16. I said, "Oh my God." Actually, how old was I? This was I had to be 16. Yeah. So I asked my mom. She said she wouldn't get it because my dad said no. And I was like, oh, that's just bull, man. I said, y'all divorced, man. Why the hell you listen to him? So anyway, my grandma gave me money for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So thank you, Grandma, for getting me Grand Theft Auto 3. Because that's what I definitely used that money for. Well, actually, partly. I forgot how much she gave me. But I sold some old games that I didn't play when to play anymore. That was on like a PlayStation and got Grand Theft Auto 3. So that's how I got Grand Theft Auto 3 for Christmas. and played the shit out of that game until I died a billion times on. People say, "Oh, this is the best mission, the boat mission." When you have to guard T-Bone. That's his name, I believe it is. The guy with the freaking mitts. I mean, like his fucked up hands because his hands. I guess he hurt him from blowing up or something, and you had to guard him like with the sniper rifle. I failed that mission too many times. Like I stopped playing for like a 2 months because I didn't know why people say they like that mission because it's like, oh, this is the best mission. It's like, man, I fucking never get it, man. So one time I just ran on the boat and said, fuck it, I'm just going to run right behind him. Maybe it'll be easier this way.
Yeah.
And still got killed. I was like, man, I stopped for a while. Then I finally beat it eventually. I said, oh, goddamn. Because I was so jealous of my friend. He said, yeah, I'm on our next island now. I'm on Staten Island, whatever it was called. And it was like, yeah, it's a city. I said, man, I said, I still haven't got there yet, man. They said, because I still can't get past a fucking boat. But when I finally got to the island, when there's a city, I said, oh, my God, this is beautiful. I was like, this is beautiful. I was like, wow, it's a real city. All these nice cars. There's a lot of Japanese people here because of Yakuza. Yakuza. And the Yakuza Stinger. I used to like driving that thing. Man,
that thing was awesome.
This game, I mean, this is a pinnacle. It was so many copycats. Like, think about all the open world games. It's because of this game. This game started off anything. Even like Assassin's Creed. This game helped start it because of open world. Just having an open world where you could just do almost anything. Like, just having the ability to do stuff. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. Like, it was just amazing. It was just amazing. Like, it turned to be my game of the year. Because I was thinking, like, I thought Metal Gear was going to be my game of the year. But actually, technically, Metal Gear, if there was a game of the year, I would have still given it Metal Gear Solid 2 because I didn't really get into Grand Theft Auto until after Christmas. I mean, like, probably close to, to January. So, I probably would still give Metal Gear Solid 2 game of the year. And that's what people did. People still gave, like, some magazines still gave Metal Gear Solid 2 game of the year. But it was like between that and Grand Theft Auto, like, it was a mixture of those two. I'm trying to think, another big game came out that year. Halo was up there because of first-person shooter. We'll get to that at some point. We'll get that. Yeah, we'll get to Halo soon. Yeah, we're going to get to that soon. That's coming up. But, GTA was great. Yeah, that is awesome. And we got some news on it coming up on this game. So I guess we'll take a quick break. And when we get back, we get to the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. And before we start the gaming news, I had to say, you might hear some football in the background because I got it on. I need the sound because I need to see if something's happening.
I need the sound.
Yeah. Because I'll forget to turn around. And then I say, like, oh, well, how did this happen? So, all right. So we're going to get to the gaming news. And so what we got, Dan?
All right, Dominic. So we talked a little bit in the recent past about how Sony has now made it so you can finally add NVMe drives to your PlayStation 5 if you want to upgrade your storage. Basically, because you're getting off-the-shelf drives that you would also use in a PC, you can kind of get them in all the shapes and flavors that you want. Whereas Microsoft's offering was only a 1 terabyte variant at $220, essentially. Well, them and Seagate have announced that they are coming out with new expansion cards for that slot, a 512 gigabyte version for $140 and a 2 terabyte version for $400. So basically,
that's the same price.
Buy your console again.
Yeah, same price as the smaller console, right? Oh no, that's $100 more than the small. How is it? How much is the Series X? $300, right?
It is $500. So it is.
That's Series X. I mean Series S.
Oh, okay. Yeah, $300.
Yeah.
Yeah, so $100 more than a Series S.
More than the Series S, yeah.
Yep. But the Series S also only had a 512 storage drive in there, right? Because wasn't that the problem? Like, you made an all-digital one, but you put less capacity in there.
Yeah, I mean, no. I'm just saying that it's still you're buying.
Yeah,
the storage is the price of a console. Is just.
Yeah.
I don't think. I always think that's weird. If I buy a storage that's even close to the console price, it's weird to me.
It's rough. It's definitely rough to consider, having to buy this stuff, especially with the way it was at the beginning of the consoles. Everybody kind of talking about having to shuffle games here and there and whatnot. And I know I kind of live a digital hoarder lifestyle where I throw the biggest storage thing I can in my console, and then I hopefully forget about it until I get to some point where that's run out. And like when I did that with my PS4, I didn't have that problem until like a year ago when I was trying to install Miles Morales or something. So, the idea that you only have 1 terabyte in these new consoles, and then, the games are 5 times as much as they used to be, it's a little difficult. It's just one of the many reasons why I've very much been like, I can't justify this right now. It's too much money, Dominic, because it's not just the cost of the console anymore.
Yeah, it's not. That's
not that it ever was. It was always memory cards and extra controllers and stuff like that. But now all that stuff is just that much more expensive.
And it make it easier for you because these games are still coming out for the consoles we have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's nice that there are those options now. I know people were kind of clamoring for especially a bigger than 1 terabyte drive, but yeah, they're expensive still, as they will be because they're very fast storage. But hopefully prices will come down sooner rather than later, and hopefully people can start finding those consoles in stores at some point.
Yeah. Giving it to me.
Yeah. Speaking of games that are coming out for the old hardware, Dominic, we got Blood Rain and Blood Rain 2 Revamped Edition, because
I feel like we just talked about this game.
We did, because we were talking about Betrayal, the 2D side-scrolling one.
Oh yeah, it was like the 10th anniversary of that.
Yeah, and they re-released that, and now they're re-releasing these. That's coming to the PS4 and the Xbox One and the Nintendo Switch on November 18th. Now, last year around this time, a PC version came out of both games called the Terminal Cuts, and those were like $15 a piece. They haven't announced the pricing on these console versions yet, but people are kind of speculating it'll be around that price. I just thought that was interesting to talk about because, like, the last generation really was the time that we saw games that people don't even really have that much reverence for being remastered or mostly remastered, just seemingly to get another squeeze out of the orange or something. Because like, who was clamoring for a new not even an updated version of Blood Rain or Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, or even self-inflicted wound, Sphinx and the Curse of the Mummy, that kind of stuff.
I would say, like, to me, that always felt like a teenager's wet dream kind of thing. A sexy
absolutely.
Vampire lady.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, she was in Playboy for a reason, Dominic.
Exactly.
As weird I'm thinking, as that was. Video game characters, why?
So I'm thinking, like, you're older now. Like, do you still have, like, man, I really want to play some Blood Rain? Or do you was like, hey, that's just something I just like because I was horny? I mean, not that saying it wasn't bad. Maybe you like the gameplay too, but really if anything, I want a new game from that. Cause I looked at the screens of this new one. Like, it looks cleaner, than what did before. But I'm like,
but still
cleaner just makes it looks like it looks so empty now.
Yeah,
like,
now you can really see
there's no detail or nothing there. I mean, I don't know if I want to just revamped of it. That's what it's called, revamped, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a play on words. All right. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I feel like half of these games are being remastered just so that they can come up with some punny title, like the remastered edition and now revamped.
They got a lot of waste management advertisements there. At the Tennessee game. Yeah, the mob. It's the Dixie Mafia down there.
Yep, the Dixie Mafia.
It's all right. So, and how much is $14.99 a piece? I guess. I mean, that sounds like a reasonable price. If
that's
what
people are speculating because they haven't officially announced the pricing for these.
But
new
they're $60 a piece.
No. Yeah, 15 doesn't surprise me, but it's not even going to say it's maybe a little too much for me. It's 100% too much for me, but so is maybe like $5 a piece because I think I played some Blood Rain somewhere, whether it was like a demo or something. And yeah, once you get past like the aesthetics as a younger gentleman, it's very much like, this is not good. Now, if you want to talk about a game they should be remastering and re-releasing and coming out with a new version of, Dominic, Wet. That should happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good game right there.
But I actually, I mean, that's at least a little more modern.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, so weird to see. Right, Dominic, in some other news, we got Elden Ring. That is our next Souls-like game that people are excited about coming out. Also in collaboration with George R.R. Martin, because he's too busy working on video games and to make complete his Game of Thrones books. That game has been delayed from January 21st to February 25th. Not such a bad delay. But along with that delay news, they did announce that they're doing a closed network test in November. But it's going to be one of those things where it's like very specific times, and they're just really crappy times.
Yeah,
because it's like 6 a.m. to 12 or something for East Coasters, or like midnight to 3 a.m. or something like. They're just really, really inconvenient times. But it's cool that people who are excited for that game will potentially be able to get their hands on it just to get a feel for it. So we'll see how that goes. I did sign up for that just to see if maybe I would get in on that, just to have some thoughts and feelings on that. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Speaking of delays, Dominic, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Edition, or rebooted, however you want to call that. It's been delayed from this year, December 3rd, 2020, to an unannounced time in spring 2021.
Darn.
Yeah. So.
No.
Or no, 22. What am I saying?
Yeah, you're right, Brian. They're going back in time.
Yes, they are.
And it was supposed to come
Dominic,
out in 2020? Yes.
How did it get to be 2021, Dominic? How is next year going to be 2022? I think I need
you got December 2020. I mean, I
need some time away to. Dominic, I just realized what year it was. Yeah. So 2022. That doesn't seem like it'll probably be that bad a delay. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking.
I hope it's delayed to a point where they figured out, like, we
need to go back to the old graphics.
Yes.
Honestly,
and don't make it $60.
Yeah, no, that's a whole other issue there. Yeah, and honestly, like I would pay them $60 if it didn't look the way it did. But the combination of that price and that look, I'm just not sold on it.
Like, what the hell were they thinking?
I don't know.
They'd been better off just to release the original fucking game.
Don't give them any ideas, Dominic.
But they will probably, like I said, release it for
Expansion Pack 2, GBA edition for another $50 a year. Yeah. So that's been delayed. Unfortunate, but honestly, to an extent, I forgot it was supposed to come out this year, and also I'm not as excited about that game as I really wished I was when they first went, hey, Advance Wars thing. And then they said, hey, it's just 1 and 2 with worse graphics. All right, Dominic, things that are coming out this year, though. Among Us, that's coming to the PS4, PS5, and Xbox One and Series consoles, where it will be a part of Game Pass on day one. Coming out December 14th.
Should have been came out on these damn things.
Yeah, man. It really feels like they're kind of missing the mark here, right? Like, are people still playing Among Us like that?
I mean, I think they were playing it, but like, are they going to be playing it like, oh, I have to play it on this now? Yeah. Or they're just like, hey, I'm already playing on this. I don't care.
I'm going to stick with my phone. Yeah. So, Among Us finally coming out. Some other stuff that's coming out soon on October 26th. Doom Eternal is getting their 6.66 update that's going to add a horde mode to it.
So is it really cool. 6.66 though? Like number wise?
Yes.
Was there a 6.65?
There was a 6.63, but you know, sometimes they skip them externally, like it's all internal iterations. So yeah, I believe them, Dominic. I believe them. Totally believe them. And it just lines up perfectly. Yeah, so horde mode for that game, that's pretty cool just because I think horde mode's, you know, awesome. Yeah. All right. And some other news, Dominic. We finally got the new name for McCree, famous cowboy of Overwatch fame, who lost his name after bad wings happened. His new name is Cole Cassidy, and that's about as generic as you can get.
Okay, where's his name come from?
It comes from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and Adam Cole, baby.
Oh, okay. Hey, but back to the Doom Eternal. Mm-hmm. Like, what's this update about?
So it's going to give a horde mode.
It's just a horde mode, right? Okay.
And they're also adding some stuff to the regular multiplayer as well. I believe they're doing a new map. But kind of
they have regular multiplayer? I didn't know they had regular multiplayer in Doom Eternal.
I think
I didn't see an option.
Yeah, originally they were supposed to do the like what is it? Asynchronous stuff. And then they like kind of pivoted on that.
The what?
Can't remember
what is
entirely. That? Like the monsters versus Demon Slayer kind of stuff, or Doom Slayer stuff, instead of just, you know, Doom Slayer versus Doom Slayer. Yeah, I think it's that, but then it kind of got pivoted. It's not like deathmatch stuff the first game had. Yeah. But it's yeah. So, but yeah,
but yeah, to add up the McCree, yeah, okay, Cole Cassidy, that's cool.
Yeah, good for him. He's got a name. All right. Next up, Dominic, we got the Discovery Tour Viking Age. This is the educational expansion for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They did kind of the same thing they did with Origins and the other one. What's the one you played that I can't remember the name of?
Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey. So they're doing that again. This time, you're still going to be able to buy it as a separate thing, which I think they also did with the other ones, in addition to just being an expansion for the game. It'll be $20 if you buy it as a standalone thing. And this one actually has like quests and stuff, which sounds pretty cool. Like, if you've gotten all your fill
I'm sorry. I was looking at something.
Man. Yeah, there's a certain feeling about that game, don't you? Yeah, so like even if you were to just like go through and finish Assassin's Creed and like then wanted to play more content, it seems like that could be a kind of fun little thing to explore as well. But I've liked that is like they take these historical periods and then actually you can adapt these cool environments that you made for actual education purposes. It's, you know, kind of meeting kids where they are. And if they're playing video games, you know, bring it to them.
Yeah.
Kind of in a way that the Fortnite Martin Luther King stuff did, but maybe more appropriately handled.
Yeah, I was about to say that was not appropriate at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got that, Dominic. We're going to jump back real quick to some more delayed games here. We got Cyberpunk 2077. Turns out the next-gen versions of that game are not going to make this year. Instead, will release in the first quarter of 2022 now.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. And then that will be followed by The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, new-gen versions in the second quarter of 2022.
Oh.
So it seems like they're still struggling with that game, Dominic.
Is that a free upgrade?
Witcher 3? You know what? The Witcher 3, I definitely am not sure of. I don't know. Let's see if they have some information on that yet. Let's see. Yeah, slightly more certainty about the upgrade that will be included. In a popular move, anyone who already owns the game will get the upgrade free. As a part of that upgrade, users will have access to free DLC. We don't have much more information other than the fact that it will be inspired by the Netflix series, which we previously talked about. Moreover, the game is being advertised as Complete Edition. That means that previously released DLC will be bundled in as well on the PlayStation Store. The PS4 version of the game includes 16 DLC, blah, blah, blah. So yes, it sounds like, at least according to this website, there will in fact be a free upgrade for owners of that game. So that's good. That seems like the right move for CD Projekt Red. They've had
I should have
enough.
got a touchdown. I missed it. Must have been when I was downstairs. Damn it.
There you go.
7-7.
Coming back, Dominic. They're coming back. All right. So yeah, free upgrade there. That's a good move on them. Definitely got to make that happen. On some other news, Dominic, we finally got an update from Eric Barron, Concerned Ape, the guy that created Stardew Valley basically by himself. He is actually working on a new game because we've talked previously about that Spellbrook one, the wizardy one.
Yeah.
But that's basically just from the publisher of Stardew Valley.
It's not him. No.
Yeah. This one is actually made by him, and it's called Concerned Ape's Haunted Chocolatier. And basically, you're a chocolate maker. And there appear to be some ghosts. Yep. And it looks very much like Stardew Valley, like same graphically, and also you're kind of going through these environments trying to defeat enemies, like kind of when you go down into the mines in Stardew Valley.
Now, wait a minute. So what's the ghost? What's the ghost aspect of this?
So they haven't actually, in the trailer I saw at least, it didn't seem like there was much ghost related stuff, but apparently based on what he was saying on his blog, like the factory that you're working out of or the house that you're working out of is haunted, but he doesn't necessarily want it to be a negative experience. So it's not necessarily like, ooh, spooky ghosts. It's going to be maybe helpful, friendly ghosts like Casper.
It's going to help you make some chocolate.
Yep.
And get some kids to come over.
Ghoulishly good chocolate, Dominic. All right. We talked earlier about the DC Fandom and what they had in store for the movies and the comic book stuff. But now for the video games, Dominic, they showed off Gotham Knights again. They showed another CG trailer. This one is mostly talking about how the Court of Owls are currently running Gotham.
Yeah, nice little thing. Talk about the story. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they also showed Suicide Squad kill the Justice League. And they showed off like a lot of the guys from the Justice League, the Flash, Green Lantern, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. We had previously already seen Superman, but I was kind of under the impression that maybe he would be the only one that we would see. And then just seeing everybody in that trailer was kind of cool, like thinking that they'll be all the bosses. It's pretty neat that Warner Brothers is allowing them to do something like this where you might, in fact, maybe not necessarily killing them, but, you know, fighting each of them as bosses and taking them down. That seems pretty cool.
I just want to see some gameplay, like how it, the controls and stuff of it. Like it looks funny, like all the stuff and the banter and things of that nature was pretty funny. But now I want to see like how you control and these guys. And is it multiplayer? Like, is it people controlling other ones, or is it just you and you choosing who to play as? Like, how does this work?
Are we talking Avengers or are we talking Guardians of the Galaxy here?
Yeah.
All right, Dominic. So we may find out more about Gotham Knights at the upcoming Sony State of Play that's happening on October 27th in a couple of days here. The rumor is that gameplay may appear there, which makes sense as to why we maybe wouldn't have seen it at the DC Fandom then, because that game's, closer to release than Suicide Squad is. Sony is billing this as basically like a third-party showcase, so we're not necessarily going to see like God of War and things like that, but we should see potentially Gotham Knights. I've heard a lot of people speculating like Call of Duty and games of that nature that'll be coming out this year and coming from third parties. So see how that goes.
Wait, say that again. Say that again. What do you mean, like Call of Duty?
Which part?
Like, what were you trying to say about Gotham Knights?
Saying that the rumor right now is that we'll see gameplay for Gotham Knights at this Sony State of Play.
Oh, okay.
Because we saw some last year, but that game's coming out sooner rather than later.
All right.
So, all right, another Sony game that we got news about this week, Dominic. God of War is officially coming to the PC on January 14th. For $50, you're going to get 4K. Well, you're going to have the ability to play 4K if you got the hardware for it. Unlocked frame rates and ultra widescreen support, as well as, of course, controller support, which means you could be playing God of War with an Xbox controller, Dominic. Sacrilege.
Yeah,
Sacrilege.
Yeah. People, they're making fun of it. Like, they call them the ponies, like Sony fanboys ponies. And,
okay.
and they are saying, like, oh, they're all upset now. Like, there's these games coming out. But it's
been like, what, 3 years, 4 years since that game came out? Like,
I mean, the only people that should be upset.
It's fine.
I mean, unless you're a little kid and you're into the, like, console war thing, I guess. But if there's any growth, because I don't know who's behind these accounts on the internet. Like, are these grown people really caring about this shit? I hope it's not. I really just hope it's not. I hope it's just a bunch of little kids, because I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's like, these are this fucking huge company, corporations and shit. Like, who gives a shit? I don't care where they put the game out. It doesn't even make
sense if, like, you're a stock owner or something, because this is going to make Sony more money.
Yeah, you're a stock owner. You want this. You want us to make as much money as possible.
They've sold as many PlayStation consoles as they're going to with that game at this point. It's time to put it on something else and get some more sales. Get some more extra money out of that. Doesn't hurt anybody, and I'm excited to see how good that game looks on some like proper high-end PC hardware. I think that'll be incredible, especially with like a widescreen support or ultra widescreen support. I don't have one of those, but I could imagine just like looking around in some of those vistas with some of that incredible environment and just being in awe of that stuff. That'd be awesome. All right, Dominic, and then you alluded to it earlier, but we have some news on Grand Theft Auto.
Don't
we talked
slam
a little
them that
bit about
way. That's a first down. Ah, shit.
They don't know, Dominic. They got helmets on. They don't even know what direction they're going in. Yeah, so the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, we talked a little bit about that last week, but that has an official release date now. It is November 11th for $60, which is...
it's $60 for 3 games, though.
That's true, but...
And they're revamped. I mean, I don't know. I'm not as bad as... maybe 40. Okay, I'll give it 40. 20...
Yeah.
But I don't know if they sold it individually. What, $15 then?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Or not 20, $15. Okay.
I mean, I'm not totally against it, but I'll be honest with you. Like, the graphics on these are weird. Like, they look bad in a good way or good in a bad way. Like, there are so many aspects of it that are weirdly high resolution, like the lighting and the textures and everything just are on point and look sharp. But then you have like these weird, still really low polygonal models.
Oh, the models, yeah. It does look weird, but I still like it. It's still
honestly, like play. One of the first screenshots I saw, it kind of had like an edge to it around the model too, so it almost looked cartoony, and I wish they maybe leaned into that more and made it almost like a stylistic choice, not like cartoony necessarily, but utilize those models in a way to make them maybe fit more into that city.
Yeah.
Because like the environment looks incredible for an upgraded version of those games, but the models just are off in a way, because like they made them look better and clearer, but at the same time it's like, oh, he's still made up of like 3 triangles.
So I wish they give you an option to buy these separately, though.
Yeah,
I wish that's because of now that we know that Game Pass will be getting San Andreas version, the definitive version, and the PlayStation Now is getting Grand Theft Auto 3, the first one.
Yeah.
Definitive version, and December 7th, but that is starting December 7th for that. And Game Pass is December 7th too. Is it December 7th too, or when
I
the
think
game comes out?
Pass is the
Release
day
date?
it comes out.
Oh.
Yeah. Sony's just like behind for some reason.
Yeah, why?
I wonder if that's just like when their new cycle of games comes in or something. They've always been weird about their release dates.
And this is why people, and some Sony fans be talking about like, why y'all don't talk about PlayStation Now enough? I think that's why, because y'all do. It just does things so weirdly.
Yeah.
But I don't get that. It's like, wait a minute, it's one game. The way y'all sell it is like it's one game. Like it's all together. But y'all actually gonna have an individual, like, because I'm gonna be like, well, I already got San Andreas. I'm playing that on Game Pass. I don't want to buy the trilogy and get all 3 games if I got San Andreas already.
Yeah,
because that's why I was first I was thinking like $60 each. That's what I thought it was, because when they saw San Andreas on Game Pass, like, oh, so they sell these days individually. I said, holy shit, this is crazy. But then it said,
yeah, that's way too much.
Yeah, I was like, but then I saw like, oh, it's only one game. Then why? That's weird. That I'm not. Are you telling me not to buy this game until after I beat San Andreas? Then I can buy all 3, or I don't get it. Like, or I guess this is for people who don't buy it. I mean, I don't, or I guess this is like a demo. I mean, you can look at it, like
to give you a taste.
Yeah, say like, hey, you can get all 3 of these for $60. And look how good it is.
How do I get Vice City for free on my Switch? That's where I want this to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nintendo have it on the Nintendo online service.
There you go. I'll buy the expansion pack if I get Vice City for free. Yeah, they're also improving the controls and then doing doing like specific things. Like on the Switch, they're going to have gyro shooting or gyro aiming if you want, and also be able to use the touchscreen in menus and things like that. I mean, that's kind of where my thinking is. Like, would I want to play this on the Switch, and will it run well on the Switch? Because I could definitely see me revisiting Vice City, especially. Like, that's 3 I have a lot of love for. But I didn't mention it earlier, but like when I got that on the PC a couple of months after when it released on there, I got the pirated version and it didn't have any of the music in there. So like when people talked about like how much they loved the soundtrack, or more specifically like the chatterbox stuff, like the talk radio stuff, like I didn't know what they were talking about. I just had my own music in there because my version didn't come with any of the music. But Vice City was just like the whole package, and it just came out at the exact right time. Like, jump in my freaking drop top, whatever that car was called. I can't remember the name of it, and just drive around Miami and whatnot. I thought that was a lot of fun. So I could definitely see myself, going back and playing this a little bit just to get some of those nostalgia vibes. But I don't know if it's one of those things that like would fit for the Switch, because I'm just going to like jump into it every once in a while to get the feel for it, or if it's going to be like Skyrim, where I thought I would get more into it playing it on the Switch. And as it turns out, I think I would rather play it on like a proper console or the PC or something.
Oh yeah. I want it just on PC. I mean, that's it for me. It's just pretty simple. I just want to play it on PC and have cheats. That's all.
Cheats are a proper advantage.
Yeah, the Switch, I'm not playing handheld. I mean, the only time I played a handheld was when I was working in the hospital. I played it, I mean, or I was playing like Civ. It's got to be a game like Civ and some kind of slow strategy game for me. It's got to be a slow game Like anything else, I don't know. I'm okay with playing in front of a screen, like the big screen or computer screen or whatever. I just don't have that feel to play. Like I feel like playing in handheld. Like I thought I did, but I actually don't, because when I put it in my hand, I'm still like I can play it on a big screen and it just looks better than something.
Yeah, I get that. All right, Dominic. So that was my news for the week. Did you see anything else you want to talk about?
Nope.
All right, we got new releases here real quick. We got Dying Light, the Platinum Edition for the Nintendo Switch. So if you want to revisit that before Dying Light 2 comes out, you can get it on handheld mode there. You also got Echo Generation for the Xbox One and Series X. As you mentioned, that's also on Game Pass. We got Toy Soldiers HD. That's on PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Revisiting that franchise from the old Xbox Live Arcade days. You also have the Dark Pictures Anthology, House of Ashes. That's out on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X. And Resident Evil 4 VR for the Oculus Quest 2, which is looking pretty good, Dominic. I wish I was able to play something like that. Seems pretty neat. People were pretty positive on it. The Destructoid review I was reading gave it a 9 out of 10 and basically said it would have been a 10 out of 10 if it included things like mercenaries and all the extra stuff in that Resident Evil 4 has picked up over the years. But it's basically just kind of the story.
The Oculus Quest 2, I keep seeing the commercial, the Billie Eilish song commercial.
Oh, really?
It's like 1 billion fucking times.
That's
now
Facebook
I gotta
money
get the
for
fucking
you,
CD. I can find Billie Eilish, because I didn't know who the hell she was. That song is coming all the time.
They messed up. They didn't sell you an Oculus. They sold you a Billie Eilish CD. Huh?
Well, because I could probably steal it. Honestly, I can't steal an Oculus.
Don't do that to that child, Dominic. She needs all the money she can get.
Nah. But yeah, because I think, like, what was I watching the Wizards game? And it just kept coming on. I think baseball too kept, like, all the sports things I was watching. It just kept coming on with that. I was like,
that
Jesus
doesn't
Christ.
surprise me, I guess. Yeah.
Like, can you have another commercial? Like, show another game playing? You're playing something else? Damn.
Nope. Yeah, because I guess she's got like Beat Saber, Billie Eilish or something.
Yeah,
so maybe that's what
Beat
they're
Saber,
advertising. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, Beat Saber is a cool game. All right, Dominic, anything else for the week before we wrap this up?
Go, baby, go! Yeah!
I'll take that as a no.
Oh, I'm sorry. You say something?
I said, do you have anything else before we wrap this up?
No, nothing.
All right. Just go, baby, go. All right. You can check us out on Twitter. Dominic is at DStalworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Superpod, SUPAPOD. Superpod.com is the website. You can check us out there. It has links to all the places you can find us, including video versions of this podcast where there's relevant gameplay underneath of our beautiful voices. And also has links to all the places you can find us: iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon.
I'm tired of this shit, though. We don't got no kicker. Go for it.
Until next week, guys. See you later.
All right, see you.